From its humble beginnings as a messenger service in Seattle, Washington, UPS has become one of the most respected companies in the world, one that prides itself on value, integrity, and reliable service. These qualities are undoubtedly keys to the company's growth. After 75 years in the ground shipping business, UPS decided to leverage its vast ground delivery network and enter the fast-growing air express business, a move that would require the company to contract with multiple experienced air carriers. As the air volume grew, UPS needed to more closely integrate the air operation. So, in 1987, the company decided to form its own airline.
Jim Heck, who was our region HR manager at the time, called me in his office and said, "Hey, we want you to hire 800 pilots." Well, that's something we had never done at UPS. I mean, we'd hired drivers, we'd hired part-time people, but we had never hired a pilot, aircraft engineer, systems engineer, structures engineer, a dispatcher. We had no experience with that. And so we had to go out into the industry and find people that could help us with that challenge.
UPS had approached the Organization of Black Airline Pilots at the time, Tuskegee Airmen, and also the Negro Airmen International to come down to meet with them to find out ways to find qualified applicants that could come in to be part of the hiring process. That was very unique for a company to come out and reach out to organizations like OBAP, Tuskegee Airmen, and NAI. No airline has ever done that before.
The initial hiring of those 800 pilots included applicants from contracted carriers as well as applicants from outside the operation. Among those first UPS crew members was new UPS pilot Aaron Gould. Aaron was a DC-8 pilot who had flown for one of the original UPS contract carriers. He helped make UPS history by serving as first officer on the first UPS flight as our own airline. Flight 880 took off from Louisville on February 1st, 1988. Including First Officer Gould, the crew was made up of Captain Bob Travelute and flight engineer Dick Purcell. Today, Aaron is captain on UPS's newest fleet, the 747-400.
I was fortunate enough to be hired into management and worked with our HR department and was part of that hiring process. And we did what we had to do to hire minorities into position. We hired the first 800 pilots that year in 1988. Out of that, we had the highest percentage of minority pilots in the industry.
With the help of OBAP, UPS had achieved an industry-best 6% minority workforce in those first 2 years. Then, in 1990, UPS continued its support of OBAP by sponsoring its annual convention held in Louisville, Kentucky.
When we had our first conference here in Louisville, I had a very high sense of pride to be part of UPS, and also the fact that I was part of the initial process of establishing a pipeline to hire pilots, and they said they were going to do what they wanted to do. And I think over and beyond that, it also showed the continuing support that UPS had with OBAP and how they supported us in that convention and how they continue to want to keep that pipeline open to try to find qualified minorities to be hired.
In 1994, a historic moment occurred that impacted more than just UPS. It impacted the entire industry when Patrice Clark Washington was promoted to captain on the DC-8 and became the first black female captain of a major air carrier. As UPS Airlines grew, so did OBAP, and the membership decided it was time to give back.
I saw that there was a huge opportunity here in Louisville to have a camp. So myself, another gentleman, Captain Ray Thomas, who's a UPS captain and also an OBAP member, and Keith Buckner, who is an air traffic controller and now a supervisor in the tower. We started out with about 25 students, and it went about 5 days. UPS supported us in that by allowing us to come to their facilities and coming here, doing the tour, going through the sims. And from there, it just shot off.
Today, the camp is 6 days long and includes flying in full-motion flight simulators, visiting the air traffic control tower, learning life skills such as effective communication and conflict resolution, field trips to museums and military bases, and of course, flying. Our camps have visited destinations such as the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C., where the campers had the opportunity to meet aviation pioneers, the Tuskegee Airmen. The Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, Florida, where they met a shuttle astronaut. And the Kentucky Air National Guard, where campers caught a flight on a C-130 transport airplane. The camps also take overnight trips to universities where campers learn about aviation programs and get a taste of what life might be like in college. In an effort to teach campers about giving back, the camp experience added the element of community service. Students learn to value the community and feel a sense of pride by helping others. Every camper is introduced to the aviation program at Shawnee High School in Louisville, Kentucky. This program includes seminars from industry professionals, flying simulators, and building teamwork in the state-of-the-art Challenger Learning Center. And the highlight of every camp is when each camper gets to fly.
Let's go, let's go.
I think if I were to look back, the favorite part of the camp would be the first time a kid touches an airplane. You know, the last day of the camp will typically get students their first flight. And to watch their eyes, to see them overcome their fears of actually getting airborne, and to see their confidence grow through all the things that they learn, that's such a rewarding sight. You know, to see a young person go from fear to confidence in a blink of an eye. To know that if I can fly an airplane up there thousands of feet above the ground, there's absolutely nothing I can't accomplish on the ground. And we let the kids know that.
I'm very proud of UPS's involvement with the OBAP summer camps because besides the fact that it's the right thing to do, it helps build that bench. It makes sure that 15, 20 years from now, our airline will still look like the community because there are qualified black pilots out there because these current OBAP members have taken the time to reach back and make sure that there are people behind them.
We've had probably well over 800 kids that have come through our program. And, you know, from the humble beginnings of, 20 and 30 students, we have grown to as many as 80 students in a summer that we're having an impact on.
You know, I think UPS's support of the camp has been incredible. And it's been key to our success as well as some of the successes around the country with the multiple camps.
You know, we have to do this. We have to share our stories with our young people. And if we don't, who knows what their future will look like.
UPS's efforts to partner with OBAP to bring, qualified and exceptional individuals into the organization, really provided a baseline of opportunity for a lot of individuals, some of whom, like myself and Larry and others, who got on the management track, and there's no way that these type of opportunities, may be here today if not for that initial relationship.
UPS gets it, and OBAP's not a real big organization, and they need help with airlines like ours. It's important that we do that. Again, we have great relationships with other organizations, but OBAP's kind of a special one because they were there at the very beginning and have been with us all along. It's been a great ride.
In 1987, when UPS reached out to OBAP and Tuskegee Airmen and Negro Airmen International, it was very unique. And now I know why, because of their commitment to their core values, like diversity. They wanted to have qualified minorities to be part of their airline. And they have succeeded in that over the last 24 years.
Let's go, let's go.